Yeah, so um, I definitely drink the Kool-Aid on employee ownership, clearly, for how long I've been here. But when I joined the firm, I had no concept of what that even meant. That was not a deciding factor for why I joined HDR. But as I learned what the corporate values were and how leadership not just embraced those and lived those, but it was clearly demonstrated throughout all the employees, I began to get a greater understanding of actually what was going on. So I think for those of you that come into a company and see the environment and the culture, it's much different than when you actually are embedded in the organization. So we have a couple core values where number one is we do things right, period. That's it. And it's solely self-interest to the organization. We want to be a legacy firm. We're a 100+ year organization. And from the executive suite down to the next level leadership, there is a clear and overly communicated interest in passing down the ownership to the next generation of employees. So it's continually communicated throughout the organization that our sole interest is to make sure that HDR continues to grow and that the next generation of employees have an opportunity to participate in that ownership model. Well, how do you do that? You do that through delivery of client service. One failed, you just mentioned the focus of quality and the impact of quality. I think when everyone understands that they own a stake in the organization personally, their commitment to the quality of work, the diligence of which they're willing to go above and beyond it in the production of the work is astronomical. Some may say unhealthy, but most people that own their own company work exceedingly hard to make sure that that firm's successful. And one of the things we all look back on is we own this company, hence why we are all working so hard to make sure the organization's successful. And I think our clients experience that as well. We're a little unique in that from the other organizations I've worked in, when we have issues of quality or we have issues in delivery, even if we suspect that it'll never be known, the bridge will still be built, factors of safety are fine, but there's something that we know we may have made an error on or may have not quite comfortable, maybe regulatory compliance may be an issue because we missed a code. Most companies I've been in will move along. There's no risk of failure. HDR will pull back and say, immediately call the client and say, hey, this is the issue that we're facing. This is what we found. Probabilities are kind of small that there's going to be an issue here, but here's what we're going to do to fix this. Even if it's at cost that will put that project in jeopardy of being profitable. Our sole interest is to make sure that, number one, the public is always safe. Number two, our clients are always whole. And number three, that we're taken care of. Pretty much in that order. And what we found is that generates what we call a clients for life model, because they see that. We've heard from them, no other consultants has these conversations with us. You could have let this go. And we return say, no, we can't. This is our organization, and we stand by the values of our firm. When I started to get more of those conversations, I'm like, this is weird. Like, what companies have these conversations? Like, that's not what I knew in publicly traded organizations. It's not discussed. And I bought into it. And I said, this is actually really amazing and really unique. And the more you see that, the more you protect that. And I think that that's one of the things that's unique in our organization. When people leave, they end up coming back in a couple years, because then they see, especially folks that start in HDR and they don't quite get what it means, they'll go out and then within 18 to 24 months, they're back and they're like, we had no idea. And then they stay. We have a lot of very senior tenured folks in our organization, and it's really good. I deeply appreciate what we've built.